When disaster strikes and people are forced to work together for survival, groups often fall apart due to poor leadership, personality conflicts, and competing priorities. But there's a leadership principle that can keep groups functioning effectively even under extreme stress, and it's completely different from what most people think leadership means. I'm talking about servant leadership, the counterintuitive approach that focuses on serving the needs of the group rather than asserting authority over it. While everyone else is trying to be the boss, the smart survivor becomes the person who makes everyone else more effective. Let me give you an example that illustrates this perfectly. You're part of a group trying to survive after a disaster. There's tension, people are arguing about priorities, and the group is starting to fracture. Most people would try to take charge by being louder, more aggressive, or more authoritative. But the servant leader would focus on identifying what each person needs to be effective, facilitating communication, and creating systems that make the group function better. Here's what most people don't understand about leadership in survival situations. It's not about being in charge, it's about helping the group survive. The best leaders are often the ones who make everyone else look good, who solve problems before they become crises, and who create conditions where the group can function effectively. This is exactly what I teach in When All Hell Breaks Loose, stuff you need to survive when disaster strikes. You'll learn how to facilitate group decision-making, how to resolve conflicts constructively, and how to create the kind of leadership that keeps groups functioning even under extreme stress. But here's where it gets really interesting. Servant leadership in survival situations requires understanding group psychology and human motivation. You need to understand what motivates people under stress, how to maintain morale, and how to help people work together effectively even when they're scared, tired, and stressed. Think about it this way. In a survival situation, the group's survival depends on everyone contributing their best efforts. The leader's job isn't to control people, it's to help people be their best selves. When people feel valued, heard, and supported, they perform better and contribute more to the group's survival. The survivors understand that leadership is about creating conditions where good things happen naturally. Instead of trying to control every decision, they create systems where good decisions happen automatically. Instead of trying to manage every conflict, they create conditions where conflicts are resolved constructively. The truth is, most people think leadership is about being the alpha, being the loudest voice, or being the one who makes all the decisions. But in survival situations, this type of leadership often creates more problems than it solves. It creates resentment, reduces cooperation, and wastes energy on internal conflicts. Here's what you need to understand about servant leadership. It's about focusing on what the group needs rather than what you want. You need to understand how to listen effectively, how to identify underlying needs, and how to create solutions that work for everyone. Most survival guides focus on individual skills and ignore the group dynamics that often determine whether people survive or die. They teach you how to find food, but they don't teach you how to help a group make good decisions about food distribution. They teach you how to build shelter, but they don't teach you how to organize a group to build shelter efficiently. The key is understanding that servant leadership is about empowering others rather than controlling them. You need to understand how to help people develop their skills, how to facilitate effective communication, and how to create systems that make the group more effective than the sum of its parts. Servant leadership also requires understanding how to maintain your own effectiveness while serving others. You need to understand how to avoid burnout, how to maintain your authority while serving others, and how to balance the needs of individuals with the needs of the group. Communication is particularly critical in servant leadership. You need to understand how to listen effectively, how to facilitate difficult conversations, and how to help people communicate clearly even when they're stressed and emotional. Don't assume that leadership in survival situations is about being the toughest or the loudest. Get When All Hell Breaks Loose and learn the servant leadership principles that could keep your group alive when others fall apart. Because the truth is, the best leaders in survival situations are the ones who make everyone else better.